Good morning and welcome to worship at Old South Congregational Church, United Church of Christ on this first Sunday of December, the second Sunday of Advent, this special holy time in which we gather, through which we reacquaint ourselves with the infant Christ and all the other aspects of Advent as we consider traditional words of Advent and think about them and try to reclaim them in a new way in this new year, in this new time. It is the beginning of the church's liturgical year. So it is New Year, even though we think on the calendar front, this is near the end of the year. But in a church sense, we're at the beginning. And so let us be in that sense of a fresh spirit, fresh mind, in a new way of connecting with our God who loves us. So welcome. I'm glad that you've taken the time to be here and join us for worship. If you're here in the sanctuary or joining us on Zoom or watching this on YouTube in the days or weeks following this service time. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here. We'll begin as we normally do with a prelude. So I'll turn it over to Brad.
O come, holy Jesus, and be the hope in all our lives. Though chaos and confusion still survive, we know the path of hate all too well. We need our God with us, Emmanuel. No matter who you are, no matter where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Welcome to worship. Let us pray. O come, holy God, and bring your peace upon the earth, that even now still longs for rebirth. Help us as we seek to live and move in your ways. Guide us to peace and justice all our days. When conflict seems never ending, relationships rocky, when we want to deny and pretend, you, O gracious and merciful God, invite us to make space for truth-telling, that we may find peace. Help us, loving God, to look for signs of peace and to be in the practice of peace as we move through our lives. We lift up this prayer in the name of Jesus the Christ, who taught us to pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Lovely. And Brett. Our scripture today is from the letter to Philippians. We'll be reading in the first chapter, verses 3 through 11. Listen for God's word to us in scripture. May our hearts and minds be open. May God be in our listening and in our understanding. Hear these words. I thank my God every time I remember you, constantly praying with joy in every one of my prayers for all of you, because of your sharing in the gospel from the first day until now. I'm confident of this, that the one who began a good work among you will bring it to the completion by the day of Jesus Christ. It is right for me to think this way about all of you, because you hold me in your heart. For all of you share in God's grace with me, both in my imprisonment and in the defense and confirmation of the gospel. For God is my witness, how I long for all of you with the compassion of Christ Jesus. And this is my prayer, that your love may overflow more and more with knowledge and full insight, to help you to determine what is best, so that on the day of Christ you may be pure and blameless, having produced the harvest of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, for the glory and praise of God. Here ends our reading from Scripture. May God bless us with understanding. Amen. Today, as we've been sort of reclaiming on the first Sunday of the month, Story Sunday. And this story, it's a great little story. I had never seen this story before. There's a great website that offers suggestions for stories to be used. I'm sorry there are no sort of younger people in our midst, but I think all of you will appreciate this story a great deal. It is a story called Bear Says Thanks by Carmen Wilson and Jane Chapman. And this time I actually typed out the words so I can open this and you can just look at the pictures. So I hope everyone on camera will still be able to see. This is a bigger book than last time. But again, Bear Says Thanks. All alone in his cave, Bear listens to the wind. He is bored, 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 and he misses his friends. I could make a dinner, a feast I could share, but he looks through his cupboard and the cupboard is bare. Then Mouse stops by with a huckleberry pie, and Bear says, thanks. Bear says, goodness me, a delectable pie. But I have nothing, he adds with a sigh. Then they hear hi-ho, and they both see Hare with a big batch of muffins at the door of the lair. Hare hurries in from the cold rushing wind, and Bear says, thanks. Of course, says Hare. Then he points to the door. Here comes Badger. He's got even more. Brr, says Badger as he tromps inside. He sets down his pole and he smiles real wide. I'm back from a stroll at the old fishing hole. And Bear says, thanks. Then Gopher and Mole tunnel up from the ground. We have warm honey nuts. Let's pass them around. There's a flap and a flutter and a flurry in the den, when in flutters Owl with Raven and Wren. We have pears from the tree and herbs to brew tea. And Bear says, wait. Bear mutters and he strutters and he wears a big frown. Bear sighs and he moans and he plops himself down. You have brought yummy Treats, you are so nice to share, but me, I have nothing. My cupboards are bare. Mouse squeaks, don't fret. There's enough, dear bear. You don't need any food, you have stories to share. His friends hug him tight, it will be all right. And the bear says, thanks. You're catching on. They lay out their feast on a quilt on the ground, and the bear takes a seat while his friends gather round. In a cave in the woods, in a warm, bright lair, the friends feel grateful for their good friend, Bear. They pass around plates, they tweet, and they chatter. And they all say, thanks. This is a great Sunday, a great story for Communion Sunday. You may, like Bear, feel that you have nothing or not much to bring to the table. How could you possibly be invited here? How can you possibly come forward or be a part of this table? Do you feel that your cupboards are a bit bare? And yet we are invited. We are invited, beckoned, summoned to this table set by Jesus Christ. You don't need anything to come to the table except yourselves and ourselves, each other, with our deep gratitude, our willingness to give thanks and to give it often. And through this experience of love and grace, we have a story to tell, a story to share. So let us endeavor and seek to do just that. What story of gratitude do you wish to share this week? What story of blessing do you have to share with another who needs to feel and hear the same word of invitation and gratitude that you have? Let us seek to share it recklessly, wantonly, to share it with others who need to feel and to know the blessings and the presence of Christ. May God be with us, encouraging us, helping us, holding us up, helping us to share our story. Amen. Now we'll sing together. Come, O long expected Jesus. You'll find it. We're going to sing the New Century Version this week, and we're alternating between the hymnals. If you want to follow in the hymnal itself, it is number 122, where the words are on the bulletin sheet. Christine will offer the mission moment. You may be seated.
I thank my God in all my remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you all, making my prayer with joy. Paul expresses his love for and joy in the people of Philippi, who live with him in the grace of God because they believe. Let us also live in grace and share in this joy as we continue through this season of Advent. And let us share that grace and joy by reaching out to others in our community. This month, we dedicate our outreach offering to sharing that joy through gifts of cards, flowers, clothing for needy children, food for the hungry, gifts of beauty to remind our neighbors and friends of the beauty with which God surrounds us through the gift of his Son, Jesus Christ, to live among us and be with us always.
Thank you, Christine. We come to our time of offering when we take a moment to reflect on the various ways in which we are called to offer of ourselves, of our time, our talent, our treasure. We do take a moment to receive your financial offerings at this time. If you're here in the sanctuary, you may come forward. There's an offering plate just over there, and there's one just here on the first pew. If you are not here in person, you may drop off financial offerings in the parish house during office hours, or you may send them in, or you may send them directly to Wendy at her home. If you are giving to outreach, just make sure you write off outreach on the memo line of your check. We do take a moment, again, to be thoughtful and considering of our various offerings. What are you being called to offer in this time of your time, your talent, your treasure? Brad will play a little something as we come forward, but during this time, I want to encourage you to be thinking and praying over your offerings and being open to the new ways through which God is calling you to offer of yourself. Thank you, Brad, very much. It is now time to gather around the communion table. Our communion service today is adapted from the Iona Abbey Worship Book that I picked up when we were on Iona back in 2019. They have lovely, wonderful resources. And I've used some of their materials before. So some of this may feel, if not sound, a little familiar. Let us be invited to the table with these words. We are here because Jesus has called us, strangers and friends, believers and doubters, the certain and the curious. It is always in mixed company that Jesus gathers and invites to his table, where in bread and cup he meets us, and through him we who are different are joined to each other. So come not because you understand, but because you are understood. Come not because of how you feel, but because God has food for you. Come not because you deserve a place, but because Jesus invites you just as you are. This sacrament began on the night of Jesus's arrest, when he and his disciples gathered around a table. During their meal, Jesus took bread, and when he had blessed it, he broke it and said, "This is my body. It is given for you. Do this to remember me." Later, he took a cup of wine, and when he had blessed it, he said, "This cup is the new relationship with God made possible because of my death. Drink it, all of you, to remember me." So now we do as Jesus did. We take this bread and this cup, the ordinary things of the world, which Christ, in his own way, will make special. And as he said a prayer before sharing, we do so as well. Let us pray. Praise is yours, holy God, praise beyond all telling. All that we are, all that we have, all that we know, and all that is yet to be comes from your care. Water and wisdom, light and longing, the stones of the earth and the hope in our hearts are grounded in your graciousness. The life of the world and all of its people, nature and human skill celebrate you as first mover and final destiny. Therefore, to the unending song of earth, sea, and sky, we join our praise. And as one with your people on earth, north and south, east and west, we join our praise, singing the song of your eternal greatness. Angels said it to frightened shepherds. Jesus said it to dismayed disciples. And now these words which come from heaven are given to reconcile us to God and to each other. Peace be with you. We may not be able to share the peace of Christ how we once did so, but I would invite you in this moment and in this time of prayer to take a little look around you, to see your companions on the journey and offer a word of thanksgiving in your mind. Perhaps look around, nod to those around you. Acknowledge that they are your companions on the journey, and to offer your gratitude and thanks. A moment of recognizing the peace of Christ. For those of you on Zoom, you may want to now take your elements, put them in your hands or put your hands around them, and let us continue our prayer. Gracious and holy God, send now your Spirit upon us and upon this bread and this cup, that we may taste and see your goodness, be embraced by your love, and be engaged in your service. As Jesus did, so we do. We take this bread, broken for us. We share this cup. We believe that he who lived, died, and rose again for us will meet us here. Graciously nourish us, O Christ, so that we may try to follow you. May we receive food for the journey and be bound in solidarity with all who walk in your way. Amen. And now I invite you to take this bread and this cup. In these, Christ comes to us with love from God. As we have been doing during this COVID time, in just a moment, Brad will play a little piece while Cynthia and I serve you in the pews. We'd invite you to take a piece of bread first as those go through the sanctuary, and then the cup, and to take them as they are passed, not holding on to them until everyone has been served, so that we can sort of maintain some semblance of keeping some distance and so dealing with some of the other complications of this COVID time. But again, I invite you to be in a spirit of prayer and openness, feeling and reaching out to feel God's presence around you. So I invite Cynthia to come forward and invite Brad to play for us. Let us pray. Generous and faithful God, you have fed us at your table. May the nourishment we have received enable us to enrich the lives of others wherever we may go from here. Whether the future be dark or bright, the road smooth or rough, whether our cares be light or heavy, our song be strong or weak. Keep our hearts warm and our hands open, our lives ever embracing and ever embraced by your love. And as we gather in peace on this Sunday morning, we raise up into your care all of those places where peace is dim, homes where there is tension and anxiety, and with all people who live each day with the reality of violence and chaos. We lift up as well all people who are grieving, those who are feeling isolated and alone, those who are dealing with difficult medical conditions, and those who serve as carers. We lift up this, your church, O God, this community of faith, that we may feel empowered to share our stories, that we may share a word of hope and peace in each of the days ahead. Equip us as we need. For the world is so much in need of our stories, of the blessings we have received. For there is so much brokenness, distance, darkness. Help us. Help us as we seek to be your people, to share the blessings of your love. In the name of our beloved Savior, the one born in our hearts in this season, we pray, Jesus the Christ. Amen. We come now to the end of another worship service, the second Sunday of Advent. I hope you are feeling renewed and refreshed to go about the important and holy work that is in front of you in the days and weeks ahead. Hear now this blessing. May the everlasting God shield you wherever you go. And the blessing of God be upon you, the blessing of the giver of life. The blessing of God be upon you, the blessing of the Christ of love. The blessing of God be upon you, the blessing of the Spirit of peace. The blessing of the Trinity be upon you now and evermore. Amen.